Hey guys, it's Carmel Brown, licensed clinical professional counselor, and I am here today to talk to you in more detail about infidelity. I will try to keep it short and sweet. I decided to break this up into multiple videos because I didn't want to bore you with a 30-minute discussion on infidelity. So the reason I'm talking about infidelity is because it's one of the most common reasons for divorce. Of course, there are other reasons or other common reasons for divorce, such as financial difficulty and things like that, substance abuse, domestic violence. But infidelity is certainly the number one cause for divorce. And so we need to talk about it. And like I said, I work with a lot of couples here in the office that deal with infidelity, and many couples believe that they can't bounce back from infidelity and that the relationship is over, and in some cases that is the truth, but in many cases couples get through infidelity. Both individuals have to be willing to go through the process of healing and acceptance and forgiving in order to do that, and it's teamwork and it's not easy, and rebuilding trust is very difficult, but it is certainly doable. So in relationships, many people agree that infidelity is not okay or cheating is not okay. In fact, 90% of Americans state that infidelity is wrong and they disagree with it. However, 30 to 40% of Americans cheat. So that's a pretty significant number considering 90% say it's wrong. And we talked last time about why, some of the main reasons why that happens. But today, I really want to talk about just defining infidelity in your relationship. But first, let's define instability or infidelity in relation to the dictionary definition. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, infidelity is the act or fact of having a romantic relationship with someone other than one's own spouse or significant other. Being unfaithful to a moral obligation, and also a lack of belief in religion and disloyalty. So that is pretty much the dictionary version of infidelity. And some of the synonyms or words that are similar to infidelity are disloyalty, faithless, and falsity. And some other words that are associated with infidelity are adultery, double dealing, sellout, treason, deception. Some antonyms are words that are opposite of infidelity are loyalty, devotedness, allegiance, fidelity, reliability, trustworthiness, and so on and so forth. So that is the dictionary definition of infidelity. So have you and your spouse or significant other defined what that looks like in your relationship? Remember that famous statement, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That statement left a lot for the imagination. So what does sexual relations mean? So in everybody's relationship, that could be different. So I just want to make sure that you understand that just because there's no intercourse occurring does not mean that it's not an affair. Just because it doesn't happen in person doesn't mean that it's not an affair. But this has to be defined by you and your significant other. What are your standards? What are your requirements and expectations in your relationship? I strongly encourage you to talk about this in detail. For example, you can be on one side of the world and have a video chat with someone on the complete opposite side of the world, hundreds and thousands of miles away, and have an inappropriate relationship. Somebody you've never met in person. For example, video chatting. There's a lot of that going on. An individual can have an ongoing inappropriate relationship. I'm trying to keep it clean here, so you might see a few pauses here. A person could have inappropriate video chatting with an individual on the other side of the world, and it can happen on an ongoing basis to the point where they believe they have a relationship with this person and they become emotionally connected and they look forward to talking and chatting with this person every day. See, before the internet days, it was pretty much clear cut and dry as far as infidelity goes. You know, typically it happened in person. of course, there were still some gray areas like going out to lunch with coworkers and things like that, but it was pretty self-explanatory. With the internet, there's a lot of gray areas that people still haven't quite defined or fine-tuned in their relationship. So just know that the internet opens up a whole new can of worms regarding infidelity. So anyway, phone calls. Some individuals do not allow their significant other to have phone calls or text messaging with a person of the opposite sex. Some people totally disagree with them having lunch with someone of the opposite sex. And so you have to define whether or not that is an issue for you. And if it is, you need to communicate that with your significant other or spouse before it happens, instead of reacting to it whenever it does happen, because their intentions might be pure. It may be just to have a conversation, or it may be to provide support. But is it a one-time thing that's okay, or is it a problem once it becomes ongoing? What are the rules? What are the boundaries? So you have to ask your spouse. I've had many people in counseling with their significant other that's had ongoing internet relationships, and very often I hear the partner that's doing that say to their spouse or significant other, how could I be having a relationship with somebody that I've never even met? That's not an affair. I've never even met this person in person. So in most cases, depending on the circumstances, the significant other totally disagrees and believes that an affair has occurred because their spouse has been connecting with someone on a regular basis on any level. So I also have a lot of couples come in and they have problems due to social media. It sounds very juvenile, but believe it or not, there are individuals who they basically prohibit their significant other from being able to even like other women's or men's posts on social media. So they get bent out of shape because they're noticing that, well, you like too many of this woman's posts, and or some other woman commented on your posts and things like that. And you need to talk about that and spell that out. What can your significant other control and what can't they control? And also, how much of this is a control issue for your spouse or significant other rather than you actually doing something wrong? So setting those boundaries in your relationship early on is very, very important. So I just want to make sure that you understand that in marriage, infidelity is something you can recover from. But you also have the option of deciding you don't want to recover from it and that you no longer want to be in the marriage. Infidelity is one of the most difficult things to recover from. In fact, there's been studies conducted in which individuals who were cheated on by their significant other or spouses have had depression and anxiety, and some even post-traumatic stress disorder. So infidelity can have some major consequences on the marriage itself and on the individual that's on the receiving end of it. And people often lose everything as a result of infidelity. So, having said that, I'm going to end there because I've been talking for quite a while, and we'll talk again here real soon about infidelity. We have one more video of this, and then upcoming, I'll be talking about some other relationship issues just here in the near future. I'm going to be talking about the mother-daughter relationship really soon. And the reason I'm going to be talking about that relationship is because it's one of the most challenging relationships that parents have. And it's also one of the most rewarding relationships parents have. I work with a lot of mothers and daughters. And I am a mother and I am also a daughter. So that is something that's coming up really soon. There are some other relationship issues that I would like to discuss. We won't talk about them today, but the mother-daughter relationship is coming up after we get done talking about infidelity. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'm Cromwell Brown, and I am here to help. See you soon.